Hi everyone, and welcome to Who Threw the Curve. And today we have Randy, and we have that's not Ruby. That's Ducky.
Mr. Ducky.
Mr. Ducky. We have Mr. Ducky as well. Today we will be talking or speaking or conversating or conversing. Somebody the other day said why I keep saying conversating, but conversating is a real word. Look it up. Um, on vodka versus whiskey. Um, I kind of enjoyed it because, again, like I openly shared everybody, I was a functional alcoholic for many years. We're talking about maybe 20 to 25 years. I was a functional alcoholic. And I never really paid attention to how alcohol was made or I was reading on how people like drink different alcohol with foods and stuff like that. The only thing I knew was that I liked drinking uh, scotch. I drank other alcohols, but that was my go-to. I love scotch. I love the taste. And I could have drank bottles and bottles of scotch. Free, who has drank with me, he could attest to how many bottles I could put down in one session. We're talking about bottles.
Wow. Wow. I thought I was good.
but but I never sat down and like looked at how it was made. So it was interesting on this topic because I did some research and I was just reading like, wow, look at that. Like for instance, I would drink vodka, but I would only drink vodka not because I liked it or anything. I liked the after effects or the effects it gave me, but I drank vodka because it didn't make your mouth smell.
You can
Unlike
hide it.
whiskey. See, only a real alcoholic would know that.
Mm-hmm. Been there.
So it's funny how I'm reading all this stuff about how it's made and how there's like these real like professional drinkers that they eat and drink. They'll order drinks according to what they're eating. Where I just drank.
Yeah,
What's
I
your
don't get people like that.
What's
I
your
just
take? So what's your take on vodka and whiskey? And what did you like or did not like on either or?
okay. Whiskey. So I associate whiskey with diarrhea. I always get if I drink a lot of whiskey the night before, I got the squirts the next day. Period.
Really?
Yes. If it's vodka, doesn't do that to me. I can drink a whole bottle of goose and I don't wake up in the morning like, oh, and the whole house smells like death.
Right,
Um,
right.
uh, Whiskey has more. I think the polyps in your tongue. That's why they're saying that they order certain drinks based on what they're eating. Whiskey is made so many different ways, and it has so many different flavors
Right,
when you're tasting it. Vodka is what taters.
right. And I was reading that it has a higher content or volume of alcohol than whiskey does.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But the thing that makes whiskey, like I love honey Jack Daniels, and I drink honey Jim Beam. Um, and you could taste so many different flavors in that. And when I met my wife, our first date was at the Firebirds, but our first official big date. First time we met wasn't really a date. When our first date
Right?
was we went to the old homestead in New York.
Really?
The big cow on the side of the building.
Yeah.
I'm Sopranos. I'm a Sopranos junkie. I know every episode verbatim by heart, the words they say and everything. Every
Right,
episode,
right,
all
right.
6 seasons, I can recite the whole everybody's lines in every show. Anyway, we went in there and she orders like a $400 bottle of wine. I'm like, and this is going on a credit card already.
Right.
And she's like, no, and she goes over this big, huge thing about wine and how you got to smell it and you got to twist it and you got to, and they of course they pour the wine and I'm like,
And that's
you
it.
got to enjoy, you got to taste. I'm like, it tastes like bad cheese or rotten feet, but I'm gonna drink it because it gets me drunk.
Right. I was never a wine fanatic. I mean,
Nah,
the only time I drank wine is because there was nothing else to drink.
exactly.
I mean,
I mean, I
I
can
went
drink
through
it for
everything. I went
show.
through the beer. I went through all the alcohol available, and the only thing left was wine.
Yep.
Then I would drink wine.
I mean, I can drink it. My wife is a PA. She does, operates on people's spines. So I know when I'm around people with that or whatever, they're drinking wine, I can fit in my years of sales. But I'm really secretly sitting there thinking, man, I'd like to have a honey jack on the rocks right now. What would I give?
The one thing as I started smoking cigars, like sometime in my life, I think in my 30s and stuff, I started to meet people with money, and people with money like to smoke cigars. I was smoking cigarettes at the time. I think right about that time I was waning off. I was about to stop. I was on that borderline where I was stopping to smoke cigarettes, but I started to meet up with people who smoke cigars, and that was most of my time in Gold's Gym. And then I learned that there's certain scotches you don't mix because you just ruin the scotch itself. So then that just played a whole big thing in my head. Like when somebody said, "Oh, do you want that with soda, the Johnny?" I'm like, "No, you're gonna It was like I was being educated. But in reality, all I wanted to do was drink. But I was also being educated later on in life on what the different alcohols were and what they weren't.
Hey, kitty. There you
Yeah,
are.
that's
Now,
that's
I want
that's
to, it's too
Muñeca. She
personal. Just
likes
tell
to
me right now.
be
Shut up. What's your cat's name?
Muñeca.
Say, well, huh?
Muñeca. That's like
Muñeca. What's that
in
mean?
Spanish, that's doll.
What does ducky mean in Spanish?
Duck.
um,
um,
you were
so
just
it
saying
was weird
something
because
about,
in reality, later on, when you think about it, there are whiskeys that aren't made to mix. You have it neat and you just sip them. Like whiskeys are really meant, like especially Scotch, is meant to sip, not to just take a shot of.
yeah, I could never take a shot of, oh, I take Crown Vanilla. You know how many
Uh-huh.
people I've turned on to getting Crown Vanilla on the rocks, and I don't mix. I put water and stuff if I'm going to mix something.
Right, right. Well, I used to as I became a professional drinker, and I mean professional drinker in alcoholism. I started to have a glass of water next, like after I reached a certain point, like you could tell, like all right, maybe it's time to rehydrate myself. I would drink at least 2 or 3 glasses of water before I continued, and
Yeah,
this is how I kept myself leveled without getting number one a hangover in the morning, and also not getting super super fucked up.
exactly. Now, hearing you talk about it, if this is too personal, tell me to shut up. Did you go for treatment on alcohol, or did you just stop?
I just stopped. What happened was I was making money, but I was also wasting as fast as the money came. I was also wasting it because I was drinking it. And then after a while, I just thought about it, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm making all these for years. I've been making bad decisions. I've been put in good positions, but all my decisions were made under the influence. So I was making a lot of bad decisions. So as far as money management was concerned, it wasn't a good thing. And I think when I reached 49, I said, well, I can't continue this to my 60s. And then I just stopped. I
That's
come to a point where I didn't want to stop totally. I just wanted to slow down and just, you know what, drink on occasions. But what happened was when I stopped, now that I try to drink, my body rejects it. Like I hate the smell of any alcohol now. So I'll sit there and you give me a drink, I'll sip a little bit, but I won't even finish it. Where back in 10 years ago, I was downing bottles of Johnny Walker. I was downing bottles of Black. If Red Label was available after that, I would down that too. Yeah, I was
wow.
just downing them.
That's the way I've been with narcotics. I mean, with drugs. I got into drugs for a while, and people ask me, "How did you stop that?" That's so physically. I'm like, I had all these surgeries on my body. I can get into my how I got there, but I've had over 40 operations on my body, and um, just hurt and ache all the time. And I'm telling you, Tylenol and ibuprofen, they work.
Yeah,
They work. And now, I mean, people ask me all the time, "How did you?" I just quit. Just
right,
quit.
right,
Somebody that I loved so much, seeing them go through a life changing life altering um, medical situation that
Right.
they almost died. I was sitting there in the hospital looking at him on a ventilator. That stopped me right there.
Yeah.
And I'm done. And people ask me, "How I can't do that?" Yeah, you can.
And and the funny thing is, people used to think I was an asshole before during my drinking, but now they say they wish I continue to drink because I'm more of an asshole without drinking.
Yeah, you see things clearly. You see it for what they are, and you become who I've grown to really respect in the little time I've known you. You're a good dude. You call it like you see it. You're one of my amigos, my compadres. Ain't that right, Ducky? Chewing on my Movado.
So I mean, it's weird how two popular two popular types of alcohol are made totally different. One, I believe, is made from. I think whiskey is made from what, barley, is it?
Barley, wheat, sugar, yeast.
And vodka is made from wheats and stuff like that, and different type of grains. Is
I
that
thought it was
correct?
I thought they made a potato. I thought vodka was made from taters.
Really?
Am I wrong? I might be wrong.
No, 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 no. And I think, oh no, it's made. Vodka was most produced. Yeah, so it's fermented from grains such as wheat, rye, or corn. However, places like Russia and those eastern countries up there where they don't really grow anything except like potatoes, they make it out of potatoes. So yeah,
Okay.
you are right, but primarily is made out of wheat, rye, or corn.
Well, look at how many different
Yep.
flavors of
And
whiskey
I
there is.
even read that some places may use grapes.
Grapes for vodka?
I guess they would do that in France, right?
Yeah,
Because they're always growing grapes.
or Italy.
In
Well,
Italy.
let's have a whiskey vodka show part two with some more research and
We
maybe
should.
get
We
some
should.
people's comments on but the thing about whiskey is you have so many different flavors. Vodka tastes like vodka, whether you're drinking Burnets or you're drinking Grey Goose.
Well, unless of course you know how some of these companies now they add some like
Well,
citrus
if you're
flavor.
infused, I'm talking about just straight up whiskey. Like you have Wild Turkey, Fighting Cock, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels,
Oh, but
all these
you
whiskeys.
talking about wild turkey and Jim Beam. Those are like those are hardcore ones.
Yeah, well, if you drink Wild Turkey honey, oh,
Those are the hardcore those are the hardcore drinks.
those are us Southern boys. Hey, what are you doing tonight? I'm getting me a bottle of Fighting Cock. What are you doing? I'm getting me a bottle of Wild
And
Turkey.
people used to say this all the time, like vodka had less calories. I didn't believe it, but now that I read it and how it's made, it literally is where whiskey has more calories because it has a lot of
Sure.
sugar.
Yeah, but you've tasted several different whiskeys.
Yes.
Tell me one that you say, that tastes like this. But how many bottles of vodka do you take a drink of and be like, that's vodka? Same
Oh,
thing with wine
to
meters.
this day, the last time I would have to say Blue, Johnny Walker Blue is like amazing,
I got a bottle right over there. My wife got it for me a couple years ago. It's done left.
amazing,
It's stupid
amazing.
good.
It has like a taste, and you just sit there, you just sip it, and
Yeah, it gets
and
the
you can
tip of
actually
your
taste.
tongue numb.
Yeah,
Oh, and then it goes around the side of your tongue, and you just sip it. And then
yeah.
by the end of that
It's
first glass, you're crazy. You're like, give me
for
more.
those people who have not tried it yet. You got to try it at least once. It's a little expensive, but it's worth the money.
Well, let me
Um,
show this real quick before we get off here. This right here, this bottle right here, Rui. That bottle right there was $370.
oh yeah, yeah. But it's amazing.
Oh my God! Me and my best buddy next to my neighbor, he's co-commissioner of my fantasy league. He when I first got that, he cracked. It came out. I said, "Come on over, try this. I got a treat for you," because he likes that kind of liquor. And
Right,
I pulled out. He was like, "You pull a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue out in front of people, and the people who know their whiskey and stuff, they're like,
right.
oh." It's like the waiter comes around with the pepper thing, and he's putting pepper on your plate, and you got to tell him when to stop.
Yep.
Somebody poured you some Johnny Walker Blue, you don't tell him to stop.
And another thing that whiskey accommodates is smoking cigars. So I don't know if you ever smoked cigars before, or you're into
Playing
smoking
golf.
cigars. Like drinking vodka and smoking cigars doesn't mix together. Uh, Drinking whiskey and usually scotch, it brings out the taste in the cigar as well. So it's like a whole enhancement thing. The only thing is, I don't do the cigar thing anymore, only because I don't drink, and I don't want to start because I don't want to start drinking.
That's great. I'm really happy that you found your way with that, Rui.
Yeah.
Very
But
respect.
with that said, I mean, I'm still always gonna side with. I'm gonna side if I had to go and drink again. I'm gonna side with Scotch. If not that I want to become an alcoholic, but if I had to become an alcoholic again for whatever reason, I would definitely drink vodka.
I want to be a alcoholic. Yeah, vodka's I get you saying. Yeah. So nobody knows a thing.
You drink all day, they don't even smell it on you.
It's crazy. But you know what? I could always smell that. My sister, I don't care who knows if they're watching these and people don't aware. Yes, my sister, raging alcoholic, and she'd swear to God that she ain't drinking, and she's a vodka girl. And I'm
I'll
like,
tell you what though, there's
I can
truth in
smell
that. You don't really smell it in the breath, but you'll smell it coming out the pores when you
pores.
sweat, and that's the effect vodka has. Like you
Yes.
won't smell it out the breath, but if you start sweating and perspiration starts coming out, it'll come out through your pores, and you'll smell a certain type of way, almost
Yeah.
like alcohol, but it's not coming from your breath. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's I guess we would have to do some research on that so we can continue on that conversation. But
Whiskey,
you're actually
vodka
correct.
too.
With that said, my go-to is still going to be whiskey. What's your go-to?
Whiskey.
All right, whiskey wins. You prima donnas keep drinking vodka, or unfortunately, if you are a functional alcoholic or an alcoholic, drink vodka, but also seek some help
Yeah.
because
Take some help.
alcoholism is not cool.
No. I want to say that before you get off here. In no way am I glamorizing. Now I don't drink to get drunk. I will have a glass or a beer, but I don't get twisted. I like when I come home from work, I like to have a cold one, and that's it. I just do not like the feeling, nor does my body want me to do it. But I still enjoy a good
and
a
and
good
I'll
drink.
just throw it out there for those people that are having issues out there and they want to stop drinking and just don't know how. And a lot of people don't go and seek help because they're embarrassed. I get it. You can write to me in the description, not the description. You can email or put something in the description, and I'll get back to you, and we could talk about how there's different. You don't always the going to see a social worker or anything like that is not the only alternative as far as help. You can talk to people like myself, people like Randy, who we experience all these things and we kick the habits. Talking to us may also give you insight on how you could go about doing it because um, it's very difficult, but it also I think, and you might agree with me, is that the first thing is you have to admit that you're an alcoholic, and that's where I would always say, "No, I don't drink enough. I don't drink a lot. I don't drink a lot." Until I said I'm an alcoholic, that's when I thought about it,
I just that's my that was my I just do it. Nah.
and it was only then that I was able to change because I came to the conclusion, you know what, I am an alcoholic, and all my judgments and every decision I've made are bad because of it. And then that was like I can say that was the pick me up that was able to boost me to kick it.
Yeah,
So
and people need to realize that you're in control of your feelings.
right,
Okay. So you can say, so and so pissed me off. Did they? Or did you allow them to piss you off? So you're in control of this. So if somebody's going to run their mouth and say shit, that's why we live in America.
yeah,
Okay. Those are called feelings.
Yep.
Feelings shouldn't get in the way of anything you do in life. It shouldn't. When it comes down to making difficult decisions, you got to base those decisions on facts and realism, not
Right.
on your, because they're never going to make the right decision using your feelings.
No, you're right.
You
You're
look at
right.
what's right or wrong. And if you drink a lot, you drink a bottle of liquor every day, it's probably the wrong thing for you to be doing.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
just look at it. I mean, look at it's that simple, but yet it's so hard.
Right. But I think
It's
the
so
first step
hard.
is you have to admit that you have that issue. If you have a
Yeah.
problem, you have to say to yourself, I do have a problem. Until you do not say that you do not have a problem, then you're always going to think you don't have a problem.
Mhm. You're right, 100% right. Spoken from a self. What's the word I'm looking to it? When you fix yourself, what's it called? Self curing man. You
There
cure.
you go. I mean, I got a lot of other things to cure in my brain, but
I think you're too hard on yourself, Rui.
with that said, don't feel any type of way to reach out to us, and maybe we can
Please do,
help you out as
folks.
far as talking is concerned. But if you find yourself in that position and you want to kick it, do find help, regardless of what type of help it is. Thank
I
you.
agree.
Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Don't forget to share us. Don't forget to like us, and of course, chime in and the little chat, and we could talk about other alcohols that other people like that we didn't discuss.
Yes.
With that said, thanks, and we'll catch you on our next session.
Thank you.